Hello guys, welcome again. In this short video, I'm gonna debug the confusion that someone might have over the three most common definitions in well control. Number one is well barriers, number two is well barrier elements, and number three is barrier classification. Let's dive in. First of all, let's tackle the question, what is a well barrier? It is a device, fluid, or substance that prevents well-borne fluids or gases from flowing unintentionally from a formation into another formation or back to surface. Secondly, what is a well barrier element? It is a component or an element or some dependent components or some dependent elements. Together, they make up a well barrier. So a well barrier may contain only one well barrier element or some dependent well barrier elements. That's why a well barrier is also called a well barrier envelope, because it's an envelope containing either one element or some dependent elements in it. And remember, a well barrier element may be part of two separate well barriers. And what about the barrier classification? As we know, usually we mention three categories, three classifications, all right? Number one is the primary pressure control or primary barrier. What is it? It is the first line of defense that we, people, can employ or deploy that barrier to prevent an uncontrolled well flow. For drilling, usually is the mud column. And the secondary well control or pressure control or barrier is the second line of defense that we will employ in the event the primary control or barrier should fail. For drilling, usually we refer it as the BOP. And why is the BOP? I'll discuss in the next slide. And the next one is the tertiary pressure control or barrier. It is not always available, and it is the third line of defense that we will employ in the event of the failure of the second barrier. And usually for drilling, we mention as the relief valve. All right? Now in this example, in this well schematic right here, on the left-hand side, you see we have the BOP, the cement, the casing, the drill string, the stop and safety valve. So we will go ahead and identify the well barriers, the well barrier elements, and the categories of those barriers. Let's start. This is, for example, we are running the non-shearable tubular string into a well for drilling. So we can see clearly there are two barriers in place. The barrier number one, which is the drilling fluid column, the mud column, all right, from the top of the well to the bottom of the well. And the well barrier number two, or the envelope number two, comprises of these elements. Number one is the last casing that we have set in place, and the cement sheet that we have placed behind the casing. And the third element is the wellhead, right? And then the next element is the high pressure riser from the wellhead up to the BOP. The next element is the BOP system, all right? And then the next element is the drill string itself, because it provides a means for closing in on a well. And the last element is the stop and safety valve, all right? So in these elements and barriers, which one is a primary pressure control or the primary barrier? Definitely is the drilling fluid is the first line of defense to prevent a well influx from the formation. So the drilling fluid column is the primary well control or the primary barrier. And the secondary barrier in this case is a BOP system. Why is it not the wellhead? Why is it not the casing or the cement sheet? Because the cement sheet, the casing, the wellhead, the high pressure riser, after we install it in place, we can't do anything about them anymore. But the BOP is the device, the system that we can manipulate. We can control it to close in the well. So that's why the BOP system and the stop and safety valve in this case is the secondary barrier. So, and of course, a tertiary barrier in this case for drilling is a relief well. I'm not mentioning it here. So hopefully this is clear as crystal, not mud. And I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.